All right, everybody. I've got another very special guest for y'all. Everybody, please welcome to the show, Adriano Ariganello. Welcome, Adriano.
Right on. Thanks for having me. Yeah, you nailed the name. Thank you for that.
I'm trying. 10 years of getting better at this.
Yeah. It's always a crapshoot, so I appreciate it.
So, Adriano, we were talking before we were recording. Like, you're one of those guys. I've seen your work around, but we've never actually had a chance to chat. So this is your first time on the show, so I got to do the thing. Kind of give me your origin story. Have you always loved comics? Was this kind of the goal? What's your journey? What has your journey been like?
Yeah, so always a fan of comics. I've been, my cousin had this like folio of '90s books, like when I was a kid. So I got in around Death of Superman. That was like my entry point. That and like X-Men cartoons and comics and all that stuff, Spider-Man, all that stuff was happening at that time. So been a fan since then. I ended up going to film school instead because I thought that was the easier route. I thought that was the smart way to go. Which, oh yeah, just get a job in film. And I'm in Toronto, so there's actually there's a studio like just down the street from my house. Like we have a lot of film work here. Even my wife works in film, right? So it felt more possible. So I went to film school, and then I'm like, I'll work in film. I'll settle my name there, and then I'll get to make comics. Didn't work out quite that way. Just ended up getting a regular full-time job in IT. And with Kickstarter and everything that was happening there, I saw an opportunity. It's like, instead of waiting for somebody to give me permission, I'm just going to figure it out. I'm going to do it. Started with a 4-pager called Brad's. It's about like two clones fighting over a date. And then went from there. Got the first Kickstarter rolling with Unlimited Udo. That went well. And then just kept it one after the other. Just finished our 12th campaign, which went really well. Now we're in stores. So, yeah, it all started with kind of a, why not now? And that's how we kind of got everything rolling. So, yeah.
It's so funny because my journey was like, we're probably around the same age because my journey was like Batman animated series and X-Men animated series and that stuff. And at some point I became like I just fell in love with film and was like, yeah, the same thing. I was like, I'm going to be in film. And then that never happened. But I did go to school for like video editing and all that stuff and new media. And along the way, like comics kind of came in and out, but just the love was always there. And it's always interesting to hear, like, so many people I hear were like, yeah, we'll go to film. Like, we'll do that. And then kind of fall back on comics. But that doesn't mean the love isn't there. And being in Toronto, yeah, you're not that far away from me. I'm like an hour away from the border of Canada and New York, so
nice.
That's pretty cool. What was your first Kickstarter campaign, like solo book that you were like, hey, I think this is the thing I'm gonna jump out of the gate with?
Yeah, so that was called Unlimited Udo, and that's a story of what if Elon Musk was thought the answer to the world's problems was cloning himself. And that becomes, of course, more of a problem. So there's just tons of this guy. His name's Udo Dolos, and he's just all over the world, just like an infestation. So our main character becomes an exterminator. She used to work for him, got laid off because, of course, he takes her job as well. And yeah, it becomes an exterminator, killing off all these clones because they legalize the murder of these clones. And we kind of jump in from there and see, how this all came about. So yeah, it was a one shot, and I thought that was probably the best way to introduce myself to the market, was not come in and say, hey, this is a 25-part series. You don't know me, but I have this big commitment for you. It was just, hey, here's 28 pages of comic. If you like it, hopefully you stick around for whatever I do next. But it was a one-shot. And yeah, that did pretty well. Like, not amazing. I didn't like retire off of that, but it was enough that, okay, I could cover some costs. I was able to hire an artist and pay them, and everyone's happy, and they just kind of built from there. So yeah, it was a great start. Met some artists that through variant covers that I'm still working with to this day. So it was a really really good start. I couldn't be happier. But yeah, it was kind of, I was coming totally unknown, right? Just let's just try it and see what happens. But I tried to do it the right way, making sure I got like professional artists, professional people on the team, and it seems to pay off. So I'm still selling a lot of that book today. It's doing better now than it's ever done, now that my profile is increasing and people are finding me from other things, and I still sell copies of that book. So I think I did something right.
Very cool. Yeah, we talk about it in the more corporate side of comics a lot, where like you want to buy those anthologies and those short stories because you're going to find your next favorite writer or artist or whatever in those. And it seems rare in the indie space where people are like, just come out with a one shot or just try to jump onto some anthologies and make a name for yourself first and then come out with the big thing. I feel like everybody, and it works for a lot of people. I'm not crapping on anybody, but you see everybody's, I got my 22 issue epic that I'm going to do, and that's what I'm going to jump out of the gate with. And I mean, I feel like that's a mistake. Do you agree that like more people should probably go with what you did?
Yeah, I think for two reasons, right? Like both on the creator side, it gives you an opportunity to kind of test the market and see what's working, and you can pivot now because you're not committed to this. Because if you come out with a series that is planned for 5 years and the first one flops, well, now you're committed, or you're gonna like there's going to be people who support you, and you have to follow through for them. Right,
Yeah.
so you're tied into this thing that maybe you even get bored of it, right? Because you're just starting out and you don't know exactly what you want to do, what direction you want to go in. So you're tying yourself to a big series, and then the other side of it is as a reader, you don't want to have to take a risk on someone, right? And not get a full story. You just get the act one of three, and you're you have to just fully take a risk without getting the full sense of what kind of writer they are, what kind of story they tell, because you're only getting a chunk of the story. So I think doing a one shot, you're giving everybody a full story, but you're also giving yourself an opportunity to move to the next thing, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it makes the most sense to do it that way. You just don't get that opportunity to kind of rope people in, I guess, and say, okay, like this is a 5-parter. I understand from a money standpoint that makes sense that, okay, maybe you get people for 5, but to start, I think start slow, right? Start with a one shot. That this way, it's the first date, you don't put all your chips on the table right away.
Well, and like you said, we're so used to this market of, I get my comic on Wednesday, and then by next Wednesday, I've forgotten about it. Or, it's just that's the old thing, and it never gets looked at again. Or maybe 20 years from now, I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that great run on Daredevil, and I pull it back out. But for the most part, it seems like kind of a just throwaway medium. But we're seeing more and more. You said with Ultimate Udo that it's not that way. Like, that book can sell. You did that back in 2024, and now we're in 2026, and you're selling more of it than you ever did. Like, that seems to be more of a thing in today's age, especially with the indie space, where people discover you through Naked Kaiju Women or from Parts Unknown or whatever you're doing now, and they want to get the old stuff to check it out. So it seems to make more sense to do things like that, too, because while it may not pay off in the here and now, it could pay off tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a low commitment you're asking for, right? It's like, hey, it's one book. Like, you can, throw $5 at it, throw whatever at it, and that's it. Like, you get in, you read it. If you like it, don't like it, that's fine. But you didn't have to come in and get 12 issues to get the full story, right? It's a oneer. Like, just pick it up, like it or don't. But at least you're much more willing to take the risk on that than you are, this tome. So
Yeah, and I just think in today's indie crowdfunding space, I'm going to use an analogy here. I don't know if you're much of a sports guy. We're coming off the NFL draft, and you hear a lot like betting on traits in the NFL draft, and there's less and less of that today. Like, just the economy, the way things are, but there's so many good creators and so many great books on Kickstarter now. It's not as much I'm going to bet on this guy. I think years back, I bet on this guy, Travis Gibb, and look what he is now. Or I bet on this guy, Charlie Stickney, and look what he's doing now. Like, yeah, those people are probably coming up now still too, but there's less of a chance to do that just because there's so many great things coming out that to do a bet like that on a 5-issue series is a tougher ask for the audience.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you want to reduce the friction, right? Yeah. And you want, like you said, you have dozens of choices. Like every Tuesday, my inbox is flooded with launch, right? And even I'm because I like to support a lot of campaigns as well, but I still have to pick and choose, right? And I usually end up going with the ones that I will get something that I can enjoy relatively soon out of this one, right? It's always hard for me to jump in early in a series just because, especially with Kickstarter, you don't know when the series is going to see the end because it's unlike monthly comics. Like people are doing this one at a time, so it could take 3 years for you to get all 5 issues of a series, right? Yeah. So it's a lot easier to commit to something when it's a oneer, right? I say all this with having series out there. So
Yeah.
do as I say, not as I do. You know.
Well, yeah, we're talking about people starting off. Like, that's just a
Yeah.
great way to start off. Is, hey, one shot, and it's maybe you're on the same pay scale as everybody else with that one shot. And if you hate it, you never have to hear from me again. If you love it, like, let's see what the next thing is down the line. That it just seems like a great way to start off your career. I gotta
Yeah,
ask,
absolutely.
because the book that I know you from, which is so funny because it's just one of those books that I just always see when I'm going through Kickstarter for different things I do, was Niki, Kaiju Women. And you were telling me that's like one of your better selling books on Kickstarter. Where does this idea come from? Where's this book going? Like, what is it all about?
Yeah, so that book is that one that's like me speaking to the market. You know, you look at Kickstarter and what sells? Like, nudity sells. So I'm like, okay, I need an idea that fits this market, but I'm also, I don't want to just do like crude stuff for the sake of it. So I did it all kind of tongue in cheek. It's more or less a satire for that whole genre that's on Kickstarter of just like the nudie books. So I tried to do that story. It's basically a woman named Claire, and she fights kaiju. And when she fights these kaiju, she grows to their size, but her clothes don't grow with her. So she's just a giant naked kaiju woman, right? And it's her protecting the city. And the first issue is about, these kaiju attack the city. She's their only defense. But people were more upset with the fact that she's nude than the city is being destroyed. It's her dealing with that, and it's just a bunch of people being like, "Put on some clothes." It's like, well, like, do you want me to stop this guy, or do you want me to put on some clothes? But put on some clothes. So that's really what the first one's about. And then we just start playing with genres. So the second one, we went straight rom-com with it. And even the cover of the second issue, which I don't have handy with me, but the cover of the second issue is a straight up send up of a pretty woman. Like, we really leaned into that. And we have a third issue coming up. That one, we're going, without spoiling too much, it's a full-on like jungle theme. So we're doing some fun stuff with that. It's like a deserted island type story. And it's been fun because, again, it's a send up of all the stuff you see on Kickstarter, but there's still a bit of a through line as well. So we just get to have a lot of fun with the book, and you get your nudity and you get your silly stuff. And Raphael, the artist, is really good at drawing women. Which is why, I called him on it, because he did a cover for me on that first book, and I'm like, dude, the way you draw women, I need to think of something to utilize that. And then this silly idea came up, and yeah, we've been going strong ever since. So we have no end in sight for this. We have a 5-issue arc to start, but we have another 5 behind that, and like, I'll keep Raphael doing this as long as he is happy to do it. And yeah, it's done really well. Even now with this third issue, the pre-launch is over 300 people following. So it seems to be the book for Kickstarter, but it's been fun because, again, it's not gratuitous. It's not just like nudity for nudity's sake. Like, there is a story each time, but it's really, for people who are in the know about what's popular on Kickstarter, I think they'll enjoy it probably the most, because they see what we're doing. They see kind of behind the veil of, yeah, we're kind of poking fun at what sells on Kickstarter, and through that, this sells really well on Kickstarter. So it's been fun. I've really been enjoying that series for sure.
So you kind of get the best of both worlds on that one with your audience.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's like, yeah, you're still getting what you want, right? Like, I'm still very much doing exactly the thing that I'm making fun of while making fun of it. So, yeah, exactly. I get to kind of have a foot in both sides.
Well, it's funny because I think it was a few months back I saw there was an announcement that they want to remake that Attack of the 50-Foot Woman movie. And you might be just in time for a trade for that one.
That's exactly it. I actually threw Raphael the because I follow like Variety and Hollywood Reporter, and I saw that pop up and I sent it to him right away. I'm like, look, dude, look, this is perfect. We're gonna be selling a whole bunch when that comes out. So yeah, it worked out really well.
Is that one you said you had 5 issues planned? So
we got 5 issues like written and ready to go. So I just have Raphael, like, he finishes one issue and he jumps on to the next. So those are ready to go, and then we have another 5 behind that. So we'll do a trade at the end of the 5. Although the one thing I will say, so Raphael, amazing artist, it takes him a little while. So this series comes out, I would say every 6 to 8 months we get a new issue. So the trade is probably next year. right? End of next year, let's say. But we're gonna keep the series going, one after the other. So I've had a couple people who are like, I'll wait for the trade. I'm like, cool, you're gonna be waiting a little while if you're okay with that. So yeah, it's going to be a little while for the trade, but yeah, 5 issues planned, and then we got another 5 behind that, and we'll just keep it rolling as long as people are interested. Like this, we'll consider this an ongoing until we say otherwise. So.
So that's actually a great segue because I have become a little bit more of a trade waiter when it comes to Kickstarters. And we don't get too much into it, but you know, just the price, the way printing costs have gone up, and the price,
yeah, and shipping,
it's out of control, but it's not your guys' fault.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy for the trade? Because I've seen on a few campaigns, I've waited for a few, and it feels like people jump right to the let's do the deluxe hardcover for $80 or whatever it is, you know. And then I've seen other people who I also really like who are going with that let's do the compact thing that everybody's doing now, get the price down, make it manageable so we can get it into people's hands philosophy. Mm-hmm. What's your kind of direction for a trade when we get to that point?
Yeah, there's another wrinkle in that as well, which is the way that I'm doing Kickstarter nowadays is it's to feed the direct market. So I have to factor that in as well with the trades. So it's not necessarily a straight line any longer. That said, I think I'm leaning to just getting the book in people's hands. So keeping it like do a proper like trade paperback. But the other thing we've experimented with in the past is the digest format. So you've seen the like DC compact stuff.
Yeah, that's what I meant by the compact.
Yeah. So we've done that with the single issues. I had a couple Kickstarters, and I just made those just to see how they would come out, and I was very happy with them. So I'll definitely be leaning that way as well. So I think the keyword is options. I'll have options out there, and I think for stores in that it'll be primarily those the digest copy and then the regular size trade. And then maybe we'll do a Kickstarter for the deluxe stuff and make it really limited and just do a handful because those tend to be very prohibitively expensive anyway. Yeah. But I don't want to prevent people from getting them. So I think there's going to be a tiered strategy. It's not entirely ironed out yet because we're a little far from that as we have some series finally hitting their end or, you know, releasing in different ways, which we'll get to. But yeah, I think having options is the key thing, is really the point, right? Like, you just want people to read it. Some people want the nice thing on their shelf. Some people just want to read it and throw it away or hand it off to someone else. I totally get that, and I don't want to leave either side behind, right?
Yeah. I think that's the best way to go about it. 'Cause I like the digest size. I mean, they still look good in bookshelf.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just the affordability factor. As long as everybody's still getting theirs in the end. Like, I get where all, you know, there's money trying to be made at some point. But that seems to be the best option because, like you said, not only can I read it, put it on the bookshelf, read it a year from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, but also that's so much easier to, like, hand to my friend and be like, dude, like, I know, like, you don't like nudie books, but Naked Kaiju Women, like, look, check this out, man, it's awesome. And he can read it or she can read it really quick and give it back to me and be like, oh, that's great. And then I think that leads also, once you get to that deluxe hardcover, if I get the digest and I hand it off to 10 people and 2 of them back your, you know, deluxe hardcover, like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Right? That's exactly it. You never know who's going to cross over from one to the next. So you don't want to say, okay, we're just doing the hardcover for the hardcores. Like, and then you miss out on all the people that would pass it around, or the other way around. That it's like people get this, like, you know, not disposable, but this less pristine copy, and they don't have an opportunity to have something that, like, sits nice on their shelf or whatever, right? So yeah, you want to kind of find both markets, but it's also, you know, how do you do that, right? Because, you know, you got to scale appropriately. So a lot of thought being put into that, but yeah, that's a next year problem for me right now. Yeah,
it's hard to criticize because I haven't named any names because I like the creators doing it, but the campaign in question that I was, like, bummed about that did it because I was waiting for the collected edition, it broke like $40,000. So who am I? Like, I'm wrong, but but selfishly, I'm like, but I wanted the nice one I could just read and put on my bookshelf and not have to, like, you know, there was a reason I waited and I didn't get here. But, you know, I was wrong at the end of the day because financially he made out way better.
Sure. But you never know, right? Like, it's not necessarily if you put the the cheaper copy out there, that people aren't going to support you on the bigger one, right? Like it's not the people who want. The thing I found, so there's two philosophies. One is I am not my own customer, right? Like I have things that I like, I have things that I prefer, and that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody feels the same way. So I constantly have to remind myself of that. But I've also found that there are different customers for different things. So again, talking direct market versus crowdfunding, like yes, comics are comics, and a lot of us do both. I find most people who are into crowdfunding also pick up their books at the shop, but not everybody who picks up their books at the shop even knows that Kickstarter exists, right? So I found it's two very different markets. So I'm talking to people that didn't know I existed before. I've been around for a while, right? And the people who've seen me know me, but like when I'm going in the stores, they're like, "Oh, like you're new." I'm like, I'm like an overnight success from that's been here for years.
Yeah, overnight success.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So it's that kind of thing, right? Where people they're like, "Oh, where'd you come from?" It's like I've been here, man. So it's that idea of like the same thing when you have your different formats. It's like some people they're looking just for it's like if I'm going to spend all this money on shipping, I'm going to make sure it's worth it. Like I want that deluxe hardcover. And then some people are just like, "Look, I just want to read the book." So you got to kind of meet people where they are, right? Yeah. So you never know, right? Maybe you'll make more money on the deluxe hardcover because the markup's huge or whatever, but you're going to miss out on those people who are like, I was just waiting to read this whole series at once, and I wanted to do it in the most economical fashion possible, right?
Yeah.
It's like people skipping out on the digital versions as well. Like you should always have a digital version because there's people, especially international backers, Canadian here, right? It just becomes so prohibitive. Like, I have a U.S. address, so that's my way of getting around when I want something physical. But not everybody's going to go to that length, right, to make sure that they can get their books. So it really, you have to kind of think of everybody. You're going to leave money on the table because that guy in Ireland, let's say, isn't going to be able to get your book because it's going to cost double what the book itself costs to ship it to them. So you got to try to think of everybody as much as possible.
Yet another reason to do the digest version, everybody. But no, I have a friend that is doing comics and has been really successful. Is doing variant covers for people and just great work. But his book, he never puts up a digital edition, and I constantly yell at him when he puts up a Kickstarter. I'm like, dude, it's free money.
It doesn't cost any. Like you can print infinite amounts, and it won't cost you a dime more, right? So. I always have people who apologize. They're like, hey, shipping has gotten really bad, so I just supported you digitally. It's like, that's cool. I don't have to pay shipping, and I don't have to pay for printing. Yeah. I'm happy. Like, thank you for your support. But, it's funny. And I understand there's piracy and there's this and that, but you know what? You're not stopping that anyway. Like, if you don't make the file, someone else will. So you might as well get the support when you can get it because, the people that are going to pirate are going to pirate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, just accept it. It's part of the business. It's fine. Those people are never going to back your book anyway, realistically. So, it's not a loss.
You can't fight them. Like, it's just, it's there. That is what it is.
Well, this is it. And they've been around since before digital was even a thing, and they're going to continue to be around. So to fight it is just silly. So just, if that's your reason for not doing digital, like, just do it. Like, you're leaving money on the table because you're worried about losing potential money that was probably never coming to you anyway, right? So, yeah, I don't know, because I've heard that argument. It's like, I don't want to make it easy for the pirates. It's like, everything's easy for the pirates. Don't worry about it. They all have scanners, right?
I've legitimately heard of people who like pirate their weekly comics. Like, we're talking Marvel DC stuff, but who like go to those websites and do it. And I kind of roll my eyes at them, but then you go to their house or something, they got trades out the ass.
Yeah. Right. So you never know. I think that's actually a great strategy for like DC and Marvel with their digital thing now, right? Like they're doing this, they're doing what they should have done a long time ago, which is like the Spotify thing. Like, just make it easy for people to pay you and read your books, right? So it's like, and like you said, you don't know when you're going to get them. Like, at some point you'll convince them to come on board, or maybe it's that. Maybe they have a bookshelf and they don't want to have long boxes everywhere like you and I have, right? And they just want a shelf that's clean and tidy, but they want to be caught up. And okay, so like, meet them there, right? have this digital strategy. I say all this again, do as I say, not as I do. I don't have, outside of Kickstarter, I don't have like a digital library out there, but that's, an economical thing. We can talk about that if you want, but but I still make that available through Kickstarter and that. Like if you want to read digitally only because you just want to wait for trades and that's cool. Yeah. Like I'm going to do as much as I can to meet all the different types of readers and backers out there.
It's the Joe Dirt quote, like it's about the consumer. It's not what you do, it's about the consumer. Yeah.
What a callback. Wow.
Dude, that nice. Quote at my day job gets thrown around all the time.
Fair. Yeah. I haven't heard it in a while, but I appreciate it.
90% of our conversation is just like bad 90s and early 2000s comedy quotes.
Nice. I'm into it.
And for you, something I've heard kind of in my local comics community with Kickstarter is price. And I know I harp on it a lot, but I mean, we're all living in this economy. When you're going to the direct market, like on Kickstarter, this is the reality, the shipping costs, the printing costs. I got to pay people, so it's going to cost X. And but when you're going to the direct market, is there any adjustment? And I know you're working with Prana, so I'm sure they're giving you a bunch of info on this too, with what the direct market's willing to pay for your book compared to what a Kickstarter community is willing to pay.
Yes, absolutely. So this I got it in my hands here. This one I have prepared. So for Parts Unknown, this book hitting shelves today, Wednesday. This book is $4.99 US, right? But when it was on Kickstarter, it was closer to, I guess it was 8 or 9. I try to keep the prices as close to like as low as I can. But let's say it's double, right? That's the reality of that is print costs. That's really what it comes down to. These are costing me a fraction of what the original cost. The paper quality is not quite the same. Like it's direct market quality, which is a little bit thinner and a little bit. It's still like a comic. Like it feels right. But when I was doing
like a Marvel or DC print.
Yeah. And it's from the same printer as Marvel and DC. It's from Transcontinental. So I'm working with that was the good thing with Prana. They were able to introduce me to these printers. They're based out of Montreal, which was great for me because I pay them in Canadian dollars. But but they print all of DC and Marvel's books too, right? Or maybe I don't know if they still do Marvel, but they definitely do DC. I know that for sure. So it's the same quality that you're gonna find your Batmans and Supermans from Parts Unknown, same quality, right? Mm-hmm. But because we're doing the volume that we're doing, I can keep the costs way down. When you're doing a Kickstarter and you're doing dozens versus thousands, the print costs like quadruples or more. So even when the cost is much higher on a Kickstarter, I'm barely covering costs, right? And that doesn't even count the production, like the paying the artists and everyone involved. But when you're doing direct market, because you're just doing volume, there's 2,500 stores in North America. If everybody orders 2, like you're good, you're golden, right? That you're making a profit, so you can keep, and the print costs just plummet at that stage because now you're doing offset, and offset creates like a whole different discount. So yeah, that's the answer. It's print costs really make the difference, so you can provide this discount, right? And I know even $4.99 feels high for comics nowadays, but I mean, in the great scheme of things, I guess if you go to Starbucks a lot, you're paying more for a coffee. So a comic might last you a little longer than a coffee. So that's how I try to picture it. I say all this knowing that if you go to the shop every Wednesday, it's getting worse and worse. I totally get that. But when you're doing a Kickstarter, that's really what's holding you back, is that the print cost goes way up, but then it becomes marginal to increase the quality too, right? Like if you're already paying $5, $6 a book, to pay $6.50 a book to get that paper quality up and to do the cardstock cover and do all that stuff becomes worth it, because you're already paying $10 for a 24-page book. I might as well make sure it's in the best paper quality, even if I eat a bit of that cost, because we're already at that very high level, that pristine level. So you might as well get a higher quality book in your hands. But when it comes to direct market, you're just doing what everybody else does, right? You do that quality book, but the costs are like, I'm talking like 5 times less than what you're doing when you do the direct market stuff. So yeah, if you could find a way to print much cheaper, then you would see the Kickstarter costs come down. But I think everybody's just dealing with the fact that it is very prohibitive to print lower print runs that you typically get on a Kickstarter. right?
Yeah, you're talking sub 1,000 print run for a Kickstarter. I mean, that's probably a high end Kickstarter is 1,000.
Yeah.
And you're what, 50,000, 20,000? Like, what range are you in for the direct market?
Oh, so I wish 50,000. So we did really well for a independent for the direct market that I hit 5,000. So
Oh yeah, wow, I'm way off.
yeah, 50,000 is like Batman.
Yeah,
Maybe the not Batman, but any of the other books are hitting 50. Yeah, for an independent. So independent book, the estimate of like what a success would be is usually around like 1,500, like 1,200 to 1,500 for an unknown like myself, like to the direct market. If you did 12 to 15, you're good. You're in really good shape. And then we did 5, so like I'm happy. But that gets the costs like like we're under like $1 an issue, right? Keep in mind like the retailer takes half of that 5.99, 4.99, right? And then the publisher takes 10%, and then the production costs. So it's not like you're getting rich,
yeah.
right? But you can do that much lower. You could do 4.99, like $5, and still like not lose your shirt, right? Like at least the costs of the book are covered. Where on a Kickstarter, if I were to try to do $5, like I'm done the next morning. Like I can't. Like I am paying for everyone I'm sending out.
Yeah.
So it's just the reality of print costs, right?
And I don't know why I said 50,000. That's gonna haunt me for the rest of the day now, because I know. I just had a conversation with somebody behind the scenes. I'm like 5,000, an indie guy, an indie publisher in like a Scout Comics. I don't even know if they're still around, but a Scout Comics or a smaller publisher would shit their pants at 5,000.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, 50, I'm retiring, man.
Yeah, 50, they're done. Like, okay.
Yeah.
You do parts unknown for the rest of your life. Like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, and that's the truth of it. Yeah, it's tough to when you talk to people who aren't into comics generally.
Yeah.
5,000 doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot. It's like I said, it's every store buys 2 at least, right? That's hard to do. So yeah.
But I know back in the day with Diamond, you had to print X amount, and I forget the exact number. But do you still have that because you guys are going through Lunar, correct?
Lunar, Universal, and Diamond, but Diamond in the UK only. They're like a sub. They're something with their bankruptcy. Diamond still exists in the UK though.
Yeah. Do you have to promise them like a certain amount to ship out to them now, or how do they kind of handle it these days?
So there isn't like a minimum like printout, but there is with the printer. So that's the difference. So you do have to hit, I believe it's 1,000. And the way that works is, let's say, issue 5 of From Parts Unknown, like everybody drops off for some horrible reason, which I don't think you will. I think everybody likes it, but in my wildest imagination, it stays better and grows. But let's say I just have a really bad month, and people only order 800. Those other 200 are coming to my door, so I still have to order that amount. Like I have to order the minimum, and whatever isn't sent to the distributors is coming to my door and ending up on my shelves, and I cry every time I look at them. But but there's a minimum for printing.
You got Comic Cons you can go to. You can get rid of
True.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, like I it wouldn't be horrible, but yeah, like the hope is that the people pick them up, and we don't have that problem. But yes, in a worst case, there is still a minimum that you do have to hit. And then you have to find out what to do with the excess. So hopefully everybody picks up the book.
Let me ask you the thing that I would like to think that most of the audience is probably asking themselves right now. If you can print them through this new printer for way cheaper and do like 1,000 print run, keep them at $5.99, all of that, why don't you do that for Kickstarter moving forward? And why do you keep with the kind of the higher price point with the better card stock and all that? Like, what's the payoff there, or what's the kind of, what are you weighing for those two options moving forward now?
So there's 2 sides to it, right? Like, one is I do try to keep the Kickstarter versions of things a little, like, you should get something a little better for the money, right? That's what I try to think of. And again, maybe that's not an issue if everybody's paying direct market prices, right? And then I could just do, $5 things. But volume is the problem. If I can get 2,000 backers for every campaign, I would 100% go to my direct market printer and say, go nuts, like print print me 2,000 copies of this. But that's just not the reality. Like Naked Kaiju Woman, my best one so far. I cleared 20. Yeah, I cleared $20,000 Canadian, so whatever in US, like $5 US. But
listen here, sir.
Yeah. But so it did really well there. 750 backers, which is huge for Kickstarter. Like even folks who have been doing this a really long time, like you don't always see those numbers. So that's like my wildest success of a campaign. I didn't print 1,000. I didn't print 1,000 copies of that. So I would have that problem that I talked about with the direct market, where I'd be stuck, I'd be saddled with copies. Arguably, specifically for that campaign, I could probably get away with it because every time I do the next one, I always sell issues of, copies of issue 1 and issue 2. So arguably, I could do that. But that's a huge risk, and 2, it's just hard to justify. Like, okay, just as an example, so I just did this print run from Parts Unknown #1. We sold 5,000 copies. It was 5,200 was the final count, and you got to count for damages and all that stuff, right? That cost me around, what was it? It was around $5,000, let's say. So that's already a quarter of the of the book gone. Not counting the shipping to everyone, which again, count that as a third of that, and then I got to pay the artist. Now I'm under, right? Or I can print to order, which is effectively what I do. I do a handful extra, so because I know in future editions I'll be selling copies of issue 1 and issue 2, but I print a handful extra, and at least everyone is again. I get paid last. Like I don't make money on most of this stuff, but all the artists do. So that's kind of how this works. So I'd rather pay a little more for printing, but make sure that everyone else gets paid properly, or I could be saddled with boxes and boxes. And it still probably wouldn't bring the cost down, I think is the point I'm really getting at. Mm-hmm. So it's just where does the pie get split? Right now it's getting split a little more to printing, but it helps cover everything else, where I could just have all of this extra and it's still the same problem. so unless Kickstarter becomes super duper popular and I get 4,000 orders on every time I launch a Kickstarter, it's really tough to justify, because at the end of the day, then it just ends up with bonus copies sitting everywhere. And again, with this strategy I have now of doing direct market after Kickstarter, it's like a lot of those copies get burnt. So Naked Kaiju Woman's the only exception. That book is Kickstarter exclusive because of the nature of it. Not everybody wants the naked ladies on their shelves. Totally get that. But for everything else, Kickstarter first, then direct market. So the Kickstarter editions are effectively burnt. Like I'm not selling those anymore once they hit shelves. So I don't want 2,000 copies sitting in my basement that I basically have to pulp, right, or burn or whatever, give them away. I don't know, but so it's the economics are tough to get the cost down. I wish, because as a supporter, I get it. Like I also feel this way, where it's like, damn, like it's tough to for a 32-page book, and I got to pay $15 for it. Right, and that's before shipping and before everything else. Like just to read it, it's gonna cost me $15. Like that's a big ask. I totally get it. Yeah. But unfortunately, it's just the economics of it. And the thing I always say to folks is, if you're feeling that way, get a digital copy. I totally get it. Like you can read it. Like if it's out there, I make sure that the digital copy is cheap, because it doesn't cost anything beyond me paying the artist and that. So digital's always out there, and you can wait for the trade if you want it in your hands. I totally get it. But the economics of Kickstarter a lot more brutal than the direct market.
First, thank you for a well thought out answer.
Yes.
I've gotten in the past, people pay it.
Yeah. No, I get it, right? Like I'm a consumer, and I think that too. Like sometimes you go to the shop on a Wednesday, and it's it's a huge bill, and you're like, holy crap, I don't have that much in my hands. But it's just the reality of it. So I get it. And then Kickstarter's even worse, because sometimes you just have one thing in your hands, and it's a huge bill. You don't even have it in your hands. You have it in your your checkout.
and like you said earlier, like direct market people don't necessarily know that Kickstarter exists, or if they do, they have a negative opinion of it. And what I hear all the time is, comic book isn't worth that much. And it's like, Okay to you, sure, but
Yeah.
like, and I've heard also that that asking that much is going to ruin the market. It's going to be like a '90s style, like blow up the market. And I'm like, I think you guys are way off. Like, you're
Yeah.
talking about campaigns that are getting like a super successful campaign getting like 200 people, 300
Mm-hmm.
people, and I'm not counting the big publishers going on there and
Yeah.
doing their Transformers omnibus. That's not enough to disrupt the market so much. And then
Well, this is it.
a lot of these campaigns or a lot of these books like yours from Parts Unknown, which we're definitely going to get to here in a minute, but come to the market at the more direct market price. So
Yeah.
yeah. I just think people are way off in their kind of view of it and just don't understand the economics like you do.
Yeah, and they're different customers, right? Like if you think of tech, like there's your first adopters, and then there's everyone else. Like there's always going to be that handful of people who are outside the store on launch day, waiting for the latest tech, and they're paying the highest price because they're the ones that are making sure that this thing will get to that price level eventually, right? And that's the truth of the comics too. It's like the Kickstarters exist so that so that I can recoup some costs in paying the artists and the letterers and the colorists and everyone else involved. Like you usually end up at a loss at the end of these, knowing that, okay, I'll make my money at some point later, whether it's the trade or the direct market or whatever. Right. But that's what you're paying for. So you're the first, you're getting this because you want to be the ones that have the first version of it in your hands, right? You're the front of the line so that, and especially when it comes to collector markets and stuff too, that's huge to say. I have not even the first edition. I have the 0 edition, right? Like the Ashcan, effectively, that was out there, the proof of concept. So there's still a value to that, but that's not everybody, and that's not most people, frankly, right? Like most people are going to the store on a Wednesday and picking up their books then. But there's a handful that want that extra little bit. They want to be first in line. And bless them because this doesn't work without them. But yeah, it's a different person than your Wednesday warrior. So I think those people, the Wednesday people, are looking at Kickstarter going, "Oh man, they're killing it." It's like they're not talking to you, right? They're talking to the people that get it. The people that get it are the ones that are like, "I want to be here first," or "I want to support creator X because I like what they're doing." And yes, it's a little bit, and half of these people probably don't even read the book; they just support just to. They as almost like a charity. Like, I like what you're doing, I want to see more of it, here's my support. So that's what Kickstarter is. It's like, let's get these projects off the ground so that maybe they can find a wider market down the road, right? So different mindset entirely. And I don't think one cannibalizes the other because they're totally different worlds, even though it's the same medium. The playground they're in totally different.
No, it's like you said. I remember when these flat screen TVs that we buy for like a couple $100 were the cost of a car. And it's like, who would buy a TV
Easily.
for that much? Somebody did because they're still around.
Well, this is it, right? And it's the first adopters. It's the same guys that buy the console on the first day, right? Like it's those types. It's that mindset of like, I want to be first. So it's the same thing with comics, right? It's people who want the first version of it in their hands. And again, thank goodness for them because they're the ones that help these voices get out. You always hear like, oh, it's the same people doing every book. Well, this is how you make sure that there's different people coming through the ranks, right? Because they don't just hire out of the blue. Like you have to prove that you can do it before anybody ever takes a look at you. And how are you going to do that if you don't have some means to do it? So, Kickstarter and the community that's there is what makes that possible, right?
Yeah. Definitely stealing that first adopters. That's going to be...
Please. Please do. You don't even have to credit me.
No, you got to start the letters page at the end of yours. Remember Stan Lee and True Believers?
Yes. Oh yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you, first adopters.
Oh my God, that's a good idea. Yeah. I didn't even consider that.
So you brought up a few times, but I feel like we should kind of get into it. The book you have on the market, as everybody's listening to this today.
Go to the store today.
From Parts Unknown. What is this book all about?
Yeah, so from Parts Unknown, so I'm gonna be a shill and hold it up again. From Parts Unknown, this is the book. If you go to your shop today, this is what you're finding on the shelves. So this is a vampire wrestling book. It's silly. It's fun. That's the whole idea. I keep saying it's escapism, right? Like it's hard to avoid the news. I get it. It's tough and it's miserable, and sometimes you just need something silly and fun. And I think that's what this is. So it's two brothers, the two brothers on the cover of this page, Bruno and Pietro, right here. go to a show up north, right? They go to their show up north, and they run into something. And I spoil it right now. It's vampires. They run into some vampires, and they can't get out. And it's kind of the everything that comes from that, and it kind of tests their relationship. It tests their feelings about wrestling itself, but it's also just wild, silly fun. A lot of big things happen. There's a big last page thing, so if you go to the store, please don't flip through the book because you will spoil the ending for yourself. Or flip through, but don't go to those last few pages. You don't want to spoil the ending. But yeah, it really starts off with a bang. Like we set the scene in issue 1 a little bit, but there's still a lot of action, and there's something really big that happens right at the end, and that will set the tone for the rest of the series. It's a 5-parter. So there is an end to it. Like, it's not an ongoing that you're committed to the rest of your life. It's a story with a finite ending. That said, this is arc 1 of planned many. We do have plans for a follow-up sometime probably in 2027. But yeah, 5-parter, pro wrestling vampires. That's the idea.
So I know in this industry there's a lot of crossover with the wrestling community. I go on the websites every day. I see all the wrestling stuff. Adriano, I'm not one of those people. So
that's fair.
What I want to know is, for people that aren't like wrestling buffs, aren't watching the WWE or whatever promotions out there these days, what's in it for them?
Yeah, so the thing with wrestling, right? The reason there's crossover is because there's a lot of common elements. You don't have to necessarily like wrestling itself. That's fine. I totally get it. Like, it's goofy. I liked it so much in the 90s. I was at every show that came through Toronto I'd go to and all that. So I was a huge fan. I'm a passive fan now. I catch up on YouTube here and there. But the reason that there is crossover is because the stories that are told in wrestling are similar to the stories that you find in comics. It's big, giant, larger-than-life people wearing silly costumes, settling all their disputes with a fight, right? That's like, what am I talking about, wrestling or comics? And that's kind of the idea. It's very similar, and that's exactly what's here. Like, wrestling is the set dressing for this story about two brothers who their answer to everything is, let's fight it, right? Let's physically confront this issue we have. So it works with both, right? And that's kind of the idea. I like the setting of wrestling, but that's why it's not just that. It's not just, we wrestle. It's everything around it. It's the politics of the town. It's how do people deal with the fact that they know that they're infested with vampires, and how does the town handle that? How does this wrestling show handle it? How do these two brothers handle that situation when they know that they're stuck in, or they discover eventually that they're stuck in, right? So it could be two farmers or two people working at a bank, but wrestling just makes it a lot more dynamic because it just ties into everything that makes comics. It's their answer to this problem is to punch it, and that's just gonna it works in that way. So they're not wearing capes, they're wearing tights, but it's the same idea.
I want the farmer version. What's their answer?
yeah. Maybe I got to put that. I got to put that in the idea bank. They attack them with pitchforks. Yeah.
So I gave you the negative. The positive, I love vampires. Like, I'm a big vampire fan. Grew up. My father always watching Dracula, and just any vampire movie we pretty much watched. What kind of vampires do we have in here? Like, what's your style of vampire?
So the style is, like, how do I put it? That's a good question. It's not it's almost like a veneer of vampire, right? Like, they're the what is it, like a 28 Days Later, I guess, kind of thing. Like, those are like zombies though, not vampire. Or are they both? I don't know.
They're more kind of a feral. Like,
it's that's the word. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. It's the feral version, right? They're barely holding back their vampirism, and that pays off later. Without spoiling things, it's they're very. So this main character, it's not spoiling it because you can look at his teeth. Yep. But so he's your Dracula. He's your head vampire that's kind of running the show and literally running the show, literally running what's happening in everything with that community, but we get to that more feral, just like unleashed again, just pure violence of it in later issues, and that's the type of vampire we're dealing with. So it's not the the intelligent, the conniving, the even the seductory nature of them. Less of that. This is just like they're hungry. They're hungry, and they're bringing people into this one area to feed, and that's what we're doing. So feral is the word I would say. Yes, that's what we're going with. I always confuse my zombies and vampires, and I'll tell you why. This is kind of like a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. It's when I originally thought of this book, I was going with it was supposed to be zombies. I was like, we're gonna do a zombie book. And I'm like, it just doesn't hit the way I want, because it's they're I don't want mindless creatures. I want people who know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I want characters who are luring these people in so that they can get them in this, so they can entrap them, and so that they can do something to them. Where zombies are just like, you're there, I'm hungry. Right? Oh, you ran away. Whoops! I'll go to the next living thing. So it was that. I like the intelligence of a vampire, because they're fully aware of what they're doing, and they're happy to do it. But at the end of the day, it's only a couple characters, and it's the hierarchy of it as well. And only a couple characters are that intelligent to make sure that their brood succeeds and lives, and that where the lower tier is just a feral, they're the ones that are just there to feed. So there's kind of a crossover there. But yeah, we're going this straight on like aggressive, which fits with the wrestling, I guess.
So you said 5 issues. These have already been funded through Kickstarter, so all 5 issues are ready to go. Mm-hmm. Monthly drop for them, or
monthly? Yeah. So it starts today, Wednesday. FOC for issue 2 is on Monday. So if you're read it in the store. I don't buy it, read it in the store, and then tell your retailer you want issue 2 so that they order issue 2, because that's key. And we delayed the FOC exactly for that reason, because we wanted retailers to feel comfortable that people want issue 2, right? Like the way comics normally work is the cutoff date to order is before the first issue even hits shelves, and I feel like that was always unfair to retailers, right? That it's like you have to make a guess. So you take a flyer.
Everybody.
Well, that's the
creators, everybody, yeah.
Yeah, right? So rather than everybody, having to guess, we did it this way, where this is coming out today. Issue 2 is coming out in June. So there's a bit of a gap, but that's because of the way the cutoff goes. So if you like issue 1, get issue 2. So 1 month gap. Like it's the 29th, so it's the end. It's almost May. I'm gonna count it as May, and then the next one's coming out in June, and it will be going straight through to September. So this series will end in September, and then the trade will come in sometime in 2027. If you're a trade waiter, it's coming. It's fine, but it's probably sometime next year. And yeah, that's the plan. And then we just keep rolling. So this is the first series, and then we'll have a second series, just taking the mantle. So we go from April through to September, and then in October we start with the next series, and that comes out monthly, and we'll just have something monthly every month. Like you'll find something from Pesto Comics every single month on the shelves. But yeah, so monthly for everything. Short story long. That's what that was.
So through Kickstarter, have you only done the first 5 issues so far?
Yes. Yeah, so we've only done the first 5. Daniel and JP. So I can't leave out JP because he's a huge part of this. The colorist on the book. They have done the first 5 issues. They're completely finished. They're even they've been distributed via Kickstarter, in a little bit of a different format, because we combined the last 2 issues just to kind of get off of Kickstarter. Not to get off of Kickstarter, but we were finding that the cadence that we wanted to keep up on Kickstarter was slower than we would get in the direct market. Like we're doing monthly with these books, but on Kickstarter, monthly is too quick, right? Like people won't get the books in their hands. And it was a lesson I had to learn. But actually, with this series, between issues 2 and 3, we finished the campaign for issue 2, and then within a week or 2, we launched the campaign for issue 3. And people are like, "I haven't seen issue 2 yet. Can you wait?" It's like, of course, like that makes a lot of sense, but again, I'm trying to replicate the direct market in a different market, which goes to all this thing I was talking about before, where it's two different environments and all that. So anyway, so we just said, you know what? Rather than you having to support X amount of campaigns, we're just going to do the last two issues at the same time on Kickstarter. But in the direct market, they'll be separated. So it's 5 issues. But yeah, anyways, where was I headed with that? I don't even know.
Well, I'll direct you a little bit. So what's with whatever the next series is, whether that's issues 6 through 10 or what you're going to do with it, are you going to do Kickstarter campaigns prior to the direct market again, or are you just going to jump straight to direct market with the rest of the series?
Thank you. Yes, that's right. So what we'll do is we still have this pipeline of doing the Kickstarters first and the direct market second. And that goes to basically the theme of this conversation, which is we'll do the Kickstarters and we'll make sure that the print quality is higher and the cover. So the one thing we've been doing is the covers, the trade dress is a lot less intrusive in the sense of, it's just the title of the book. Yep. Like we keep it really minimal. So it's almost like a virgin variant that we're doing for Kickstarter, and it's exclusive to that. And it's basically like you want the premium version of paper quality and the covers and all that. Like you really like the art forward version of it. That's what you're going to get on Kickstarter. And then if you just want to read the book, you want the story, you want the interiors, you want all that stuff, that's where the direct market comes in. So we're, again, 2 different types of book, even though it's the same book, for 2 different markets. But what we're doing, again, to mitigate this, like, you can't keep up that rollout and then feed the direct market, is we've been launching issues 2 at a time or 3 at a time, right? So the book that comes after From Parts Unknown, it's called Snip. We just did the Kickstarter for that. It was the first 2 issues. And then we'll be doing 3 through 5 to end the series in June or July. And we'll be launching that campaign. It'll be the last 3 issues. So you got the whole arc in 2 campaigns, right? And then it comes to the direct market and it goes to a monthly cadence. So it's a good pipeline because it allows us to make sure that everyone gets paid, all the artists and everybody gets paid with those premium style quality copies. And then the direct market is after, and we can do our higher print run and get everyone to read the book and all that, and then eventually hitting the trade sometime later, right?
And
yeah.
And for someone like me, like I think there's 2 campaigns that I back on a regular basis, and it's So-Called Living and Dino Knights that do exactly what you're saying, like 3 issues at a time, and it's much better because shipping cost goes down. While the printing cost may be the same, for some reason it just feels easier to spend a little bit more for 2 or 3 issues, and then the shipping goes down with that. It just kind of makes more sense in today's market with how Kickstarters run to do it that way. So I like to hear that you're doing that. That's because even
I kind of stole the idea.
People waiting for issue 5 when the series is over just to get the whole thing in one shot.
Yeah.
A lot too.
100%. I was gonna say I kind of stole that idea from Mark from So-Called Living there, right?
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Because I talked to him about it, and I'm like, "Why do you do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I try to get it out as quickly as possible because I eventually get it in the direct market, right?" So my goal is to just like do as much as I can up front and get it to in people's hands as quickly as possible, so that I can get to that next phase of production. So it was one of those things that it's like, at the time I'm like, you're crazy. You're missing out on Kickstarter campaigns. And it's like, no, he's onto something. So yeah, I stole the idea from him. So Mark, if you're watching, thank you.
No, Mark's good people. I love talking to him. He probably is missing out on campaign money, but
it's true. Yeah.
I think long term it's going to do better. I think it's going to, that's one of those like eat your vegetables now so you can live longer.
Yes.
Like
100%, right? Like it's you could slow roll it and you will 100%. You will make more money if you piece them out, right? But you're also extending your timeline a lot. And if you're trying to do what we're doing, which is like have a lot of work out there, like I've brought it up many times on many places that I have 4 books in the works right now, and I have I have like 6 or so different projects that are in the early stages. So that's 10 books. If I try to do a campaign of 1 issue at a time every 3 months, I'll be doing this until I'm 120. So I don't have that much time on this planet. So right, so I got to speed run it a bit, and it's part of doing that is these campaigns that are here's a bunch at once. And to your point, right, it's kind of beneficial to the reader because it's like you're getting a huge chunk of the story and you don't have to pay multiple shipping, right? Like here you go, take a chunk. Because the one thing I will say is that when I say this is the end of a series, I always see a spike because it's those people that maybe they're not trade waiting, but they're like, I'd rather wait for everything and just order it at once. Yeah. So you get to that stage a lot faster now, right?
Dude, the free shipping scam works. I mean,
yeah.
It works on me, and there's a reason it works. Like, oh, I need clothes. Well, I need $200 worth of clothes because that's free shipping. Like, right. It works. People hate paying for shipping.
It's funny because so I used to do that on my campaigns where I'd say shipping is free, and all I was doing was including it in the price of the books. Mm-hmm. So the books were like, okay, this book is $30. Why is it $30? That's crazy to ask, but the shipping was free. But it wasn't. It was just I just didn't piece it out for you. Yeah. And I even did a poll, and I'm like, guys, would you want me to tell you how much the shipping is? I'll break it out, and I'll tell you how much the book costs and how much the shipping costs. And everybody's like, I want it separate. And I've seen there's a difference in the amount of backers you get. Yeah. It's better to say that it's free and charge a higher price. Like it just combine the prices, than to actually be transparent, which is against what everybody says they want. Yeah. Great,
Adriano, but I put a crazy amount of work into this podcast every week for 10 years, and I do it for the free comics. I mean,
I love that. Yeah.
So,
that's great.
Real quick, you've been super generous with time. Do you have a little bit more? Because I have a couple more things I want to jump at with you, and I've been having a great time talking. Okay. Talk to me about Snip, because that's the other thing you got going on. I know it's not kind of right this moment, but
no, for sure.
What's this book all about, and when can people expect to see it again?
Yeah, so Snip is the next book that is. So when I was talking about From Parts Unknown ends and another book shows up, Snip is the one that's right behind it. So that's coming to the direct market in October. However, we just did our Kickstarter campaign for the first two. And the next three will be coming out June, July. So this book is our time-traveling, existential, what is life, what is existence book. It's not so deep. It's not again, it's all the manifesto behind Pesto Comics. The reason it's called Pesto Comics is because pesto is a type of pulp, and the type of writing we like to do is pulpy writing. So it's that kind of storytelling. So don't expect to get very dense, very philosophical stuff. This is a silly book where people wear headsets to go back in time and snip people out of existence. And that's where the title comes from. That they will go back in time and literally take you out of existence because you're doing something wrong. You're doing something criminal. You're doing something against the rules. And what happens is one of these people that go back in time and snip people out of existence gets his next assignment. And who's his next assignment? It's himself. He said that at some point, it's a Minority Report style thing. You are a murderer. You need to be snipped from the timeline. And of course, what does he do? Not that. He does everything but. And then that creates a whole chain of events that, by not taking himself out of the timeline, he causes a whole set of problems. And it's dealing with that. And it's, what happens if you think that you should exist when you probably shouldn't? So it's the after effects of that, and it's been a lot of fun. It's really wild. So I did this with again talking about Unlimited Udo. So we did Naked Kaiju Woman, and Raphael was the artist I take from that. The other variant cover artist, Ricardo, is the one doing the interiors on this, and JP, the colorist from Parts Unknown, is consistent, so he's doing that. The colors on this book, but yeah, it's I've been trying to do a book with Ricardo for such a long time, so. He's just doing some amazing work. I really love how this book is turning out. And yeah, so he sent me pages for issue 4 yesterday morning, and they're looking great. So really excited for people to get this book. But yeah, this is another self-contained 5 issue series. This one probably won't continue based the ending I have in mind is pretty defined and pretty clear, so it's going to be a 5-issue story. From Parts Unknown we'll certainly come back to at some point. That is a story we can keep telling forever, but with Snip, yeah, it's 5 issues, and the ending, once you see it, you'll see it's pretty definitive, and ends at the end of 5. Yeah.
So it sounds like Back to the Future Don't Bang Your Mom mixed with
yeah.
Baby Hitler, Do We Do It, Don't We?
Yeah,
situation.
yeah. I might steal that. Yeah, the Back to the Future reference is actually a good one because one of the variant covers on the Kickstarter is exactly that. So now what we've been doing is exclusive Kickstarter variant covers. We don't do variant covers in the direct market. So if you want one of them is by my buddy Roberto Villacava, and he did it's a homage to Back to the Future. So it's literally him stepping out of the DeLorean with the headset on.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, 100%. You nailed it.
Very cool. So, June, July, you're saying for that one.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
then direct market later in the year.
Yeah, direct market will be in October. So I'll be talking about it a whole ton probably in August because that's when it's like ramp up to FOC time. So, order it in September, you'll get it in October. That's the idea, yeah.
Do you have the launch page ready for Kickstarter? Like, can people get notified?
Yes, 100%. So I have a link. It's bit.ly/Snip3. Snip3 comic, Snip3 comic. Yeah. Let me double check that real quick. Oh my god, I should have had it. Anyways, it's it's Snip3 on Kickstarter. Yeah, Snip3, right? Yeah. Give me this. Snip3, no comic at the end of it. I had to do it for the first one because apparently somebody took that already. But yeah, bit.ly/Snip3. That'll take you directly to the pre-launch page. And you'll see it's a black and white picture of the main character with his big wide eyes. So you can't miss it. But yeah, that's for the end of it. And you can get the full series. So if you didn't back the first 2 issues, that's cool. There will be a bundle for the whole thing. And if you ever backed any of my campaigns, I always, now that Kickstarter has these secret rewards, I always send those out. Like, hey, new campaign. And if you want to save a bit of money or you want to get something extra, back this version and you'll get something cool with your... because of your patronage. Right? So I appreciate loyalty, so I like to reward it where I can.
Very cool. And you also have Niki Kaiju Woman #3
Yes.
on Kickstarter coming up, so people can get the notifications for that too, correct?
Yes. And that one so I use this bit.ly thing. bit.ly, that one NKW3 is what you're going to look for. And that one is that one is doing really well in the pre-launch because it always does pretty well. What are we at right now? I'm just watching it load. 303 followers, so we're doing all right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty good start. That one is coming any day now. I just got the 28th page last night out of 32, so we're so close. I like to make sure all the books are done before I ever hit launch.
Yes.
So this one we're very likely launching in May. I was hoping to launch it in April, but life got in the way. It happens. But so May we will launch, and it'll run for about a month. And same thing as always. If you missed issues 1 and 2, we'll have them. If you missed the variant covers for issue 1 and 2, we'll have them. We have all kinds of artists. Like this one is. This was one of the series that I get artists reaching out to me, being like, "I would like to do a cover, please." And yeah, we have one of the big ones. Have you heard of the Florida Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre?
Yes.
So the artist on that, James Edward Clark, he's actually he's not quite my neighbor, but he lives very close to me. And he did a cover for Naked Kaiju Woman 2, and it's so good. It's so good. So if you want that'll be available in the campaign as well.
And so you said some from Parts Unknown, getting direct market right now. Snip will be next, and then from Parts Unknown will come back. Have you? Because I see you're a planner and you got stuff planned out for at least the next year going on.
Oh yeah.
Have you planned what's after that for the direct market?
Yes, so we have another book. It's called Crimson Frontier. That one is working. I'm working with Daniel and JP again. So same group from Parts Unknown. And this is actually why the second half of From Parts Unknown is going to be a bit later, because they're working on this cool one, which is a Western set on Mars. And it's basically it's an invasion story of it's humans and Martians, and they don't get along. So it's I feel like the term isn't as popular. Cowboys and Indians. I know that's not as kosher to say anymore, but it's that. But it's humans and Martians, right? And then a third party comes in and says, actually, we're gonna take it from all of you. And now these two warring factions have to kind of fight side by side to fight off this invader. So it's a space western, I guess. A lot of fun, big action, kind of silly, but still with that background of depth in there, and questioning who is an enemy and who is a friend kind of thing. as all westerns do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just some wild fun. But that's same team as from Parts Unknown, so we have that coming. And then I still have projects with both Raphael. We're planning, so Raphael from Naked Kaiju Woman. When he's not busy drawing naked ladies for me, we're working on like a cyberpunk style book that is in early development. Ricardo and I, the team from Snip, but we are working on something else as well. He has a property that he's been trying to get off the ground for a while, so we might walk down that path, or we have something that I have in store for him that it falls also in the time travel vein. He's really good. I can throw anything at him.
Yeah.
So I really am pushing him to do this time travel book with me because it's I know I could be like, this is medieval times, this is blah blah blah, and he'll do it and he'll knock it out of the park. So I'm like, dude, this is the book we're gonna do. So anyways, yeah, I got that. I got there's so much more, but
busy.
Yeah,
Man.
trying to be.
Any thought into putting? I know you have a few one shots out there. Any thought in pushing those to the direct market, seeing how they do?
The only one that I'm leaning to, and actually I forgot to mention, so Mattia Monaco, that's another book that we're working on. That one I've been working on for a while. It's another spacey one. Space Garbage Men is what it's about, without getting too much into it. And it's like dimensional stuff and all that, because, sci-fi. So Mattia Monaco did a book with me called Crazy Latte Thing Called Love. And that was my introduction to Kickstarter. Like, I did those first couple books on Kickstarter and they did well. That was the book that like kind of introduced me to people and like got attention. And like I went to San Diego and people were like, "Oh, you're the latte guy." Like I was getting like recognized from that book. So that book I'm trying to figure out its place in the direct market. If I want to do like a second release in a month, but I want to make sure it gets its time. Because if you haven't seen it, the work that Mattia had done in that book is like nothing else. Like the way I write scripts is relatively loose. Like I always talk about like the first page, and the first page was he wakes up and his coffee maker is broken, and then I move on to the next panel. And the amount of detail that he put in that first panel that I did not provide, right? I was just like, dude wakes up and is upset that his coffee maker is broken, and the production design, for lack of a better term, of everything that's on his counter and like all the little things and they're all true to his character, right? Like the amount of work that Mattia put into that book is just like mind blowing. So he's doing great work like with Mad Cave now. He did Eat Your Young, the book that just came out. So it's hard to get on his schedule, but I told him like we're doing a book together. So I've been throwing him scripts and hopefully we'll have that book together soon. But Crazy Latte Thing Called Love, yeah, I'm very proud of that book. Like that is one of my favorites, and yeah, I would love to get that out widely because more people have to see it. Again, a lot of support on Kickstarter, always sells well and does well, even at shows and stuff. Like I'm selling that book more than anything. Yeah. But again, the different markets. I want people to go to the Wednesday Warriors to read that book because I think it's worth checking out. So that of all, I think is the one that might end up in stores soon, hopefully.
Yeah. That's definitely a niche market, but I mean, I think Tom King, of all people, proved that the market's still there.
Yeah.
He did that romance book a little while ago. And Jonathan Hedrick had a book similar to that. It was like Caffeinated something.
Oh, I love that book. Caffeinated Hurts, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously there's a market out there for that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
I could see it, yeah.
Yeah, Jonathan's awesome. I love him. I saw him at Thought Bubble a couple of years ago, and he was super stressed because like I think their luggage got lost, or they had a hard time getting. They're in Italy, and like him and his wife, and they had a hard time getting to the UK. And I saw him the next day. At first thing he does comes gives me a big hug. I'm like, dude, come on, like you're so stressed. He's just like the most pleasant dude. I love that guy. But yeah, anyways, yeah,
he's the example of people I grew up with, where it's like I grew up in like a lot of like skate punk scenes and then like hardcore and everything. So guys like covered in tattoos, ride motorcycles, leather, and that's kind of what John is. But he's the kindest, sweetest person I've ever met.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah,
and all those people I know from those days to this day are like some of the nicest people.
Right? Yeah, it's don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah,
right?
Dude, my whole life has been that. Like people are like, oh, they see him, they're like, oh, it's like, dude, these people are the kindest, nicest people you'll ever meet. Like,
yeah,
trust me.
Right?
They make inappropriate jokes once in a while, but other than that, there's great people.
Yeah,
but,
right. It's all good fun. Yeah.
And you've been working with Prana, which is kind of how we connected. What's been their what do they provide you in terms of getting to the direct market? Is it just like, hey Adriana, meet so and so, and bam, you take it from there? Or what's kind of their role in all this?
Yeah, I think the best way I've heard it described to me is like they're almost like my agent, because as far as like the publishing of it goes, like I'm with Prana Publishers. That's like the section of their company that I'm in. But really, what they do is they facilitate. Right. I say that, but they're also huge in marketing. Like they've really done a lot to help me market the book. So I appreciate that, and have given me a lot of advice in terms of things to do to really push the book, and like even putting it together and all that. And they've helped me with some connections. Like the production designer from Parts Unknown is a connection through them. But the primary thing they do is they are the conduit that I get access to my distributors. So I'm with Lunar, Universal, and Diamond. If I tried to approach any of those directly, they would not talk to me. But because Prana is the representative and they have myself, and right now I think they're at 6 other publishers, right? They are effectively now also a big publisher, right? I am a small part of that pie, but they can now have that conversation because again, they don't. It's not worth it to them to talk to me, who's doing 1 book a month, right? Like that's too much overhead. They have to, provide a person that is responsible for me to do 1 book. Not worth it. But now we're doing, half a dozen books, a dozen books a month through Prana, and I'm one piece of it. So that's their primary thing, is that they're able to get me that connection to distributors that is not available to indies any longer. It was with Diamond, like you could set that up, but nowadays, like Universal and Lunar does not talk to individual indies, right? So, so they're the
my audience is familiar with like massive indies,
and that's what I was saying. It's very similar to massive indies. The difference is, and I've talked to folks who have that like massive indies contract. The difference is massive is very much like send us everything and we'll make sure it gets to a distributor.
Yeah.
Right. Prana is a little more hands-on. So they're like, yes, send us everything and we'll make sure it gets to the distributor. But here's something you can do to make your solicit pop a bit more. And here's some retailers you can talk to. And like my relationship with Transcontinental, right? Again, printers for like, they're doing DC and all this stuff, and they wouldn't talk to me, right? Not again, nothing wrong on. I totally get it because like, who am I? And if they look at my history, they're like, you do Kickstarter, like we don't want to talk to you. You're not going to print enough. But through Prana, they're like, no. Like trust us. Like we're going to make sure this book does well. Blah blah blah. Suddenly, I had a whole sales team talking to me, right? That doesn't happen just on my own. Like I couldn't even get a rejection via email, right? Like I just wasn't hitting their radar. But once Prana got involved, suddenly I had a conference call with 3 people from their team saying, this is what we're going to do to make sure that your book ends up like, at the right quality and blah, blah. And they walked me through all their tools. So they're really, my window into everything. Right. And they're, they had my book pushed at Comics Pro. That doesn't happen without Prana, right? Like, and I was getting in front of retailers that I wouldn't have ever been able to because I don't get into Comics Pro. I'm nobody, right? So they've opened a lot of doors and helped a lot in just exposing the books to the market that wouldn't happen just by myself, right? So more than just a distributor, yeah, for sure.
So what I would love to know, advice they hopefully have given you is, I think we all agree that Diamond was kind of an issue. Like, Monopoly's never great, blah, blah, blah. But the good thing about Monopoly, from a consumer standpoint, was that previews catalog.
Yes.
I discovered a lot of independent books, a lot of small press books, just by flipping through it. Spending an afternoon just looking through and being like, oh, that looks cool, and, this. And even publishers as big as Vault, like, I don't really see what they're putting out anymore. What's been, in today's world where I still get my Marvel and DC quote unquote previews book and a few other big publishers, but I don't get that look into what to order this month for the smaller publishers. Have they given you any advice on how to kind of break through that? And let people know that's coming out, other than maybe coming on shows like this?
Yeah, this is a big one, which thank you for having me. I will say that does help. We are in the catalog, but even then it's done in alphabetical order, and P is unfortunately low in the alphabet. So I'm usually on page 600 and something of the Next Phase, I think it's called, or I don't even remember what the name of the solicit is from Lunar, but it's still page 600 and something, right? So we're pretty deep in the catalog. So that's certainly not enough. So I
That's
am
a digital catalog, right?
and it's a digital catalog. It's
Yeah.
not because it would be like a tome, right? Like it would be like 1,000 pages thick.
It was so much easier. My local shop, because
Yeah,
I guess a lot of shops charge for previews.
yeah,
My
yeah.
local shop was like every month, like there's the stack of previews, grab one, and he's
Oh,
like,
that's awesome.
if I lose, I think they're like $3 or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause if I lose $1 or whatever on all of you, you order one book, I made it back.
This is
That
it.
was his
Yeah,
theory. So
yeah, yeah.
we always got it for free, and that was like 700 pages or something. But
Yeah.
an afternoon, I'm watching whatever the newest Marvel show is or whatever, and I'm flipping through
Yeah.
it. Like it was worth it. Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And that so it's all digital now. That's just the way of the world. And again, that's the lunar side, not the universal side, right? So the way that this has been going is it's the truth of comics is you are not selling to the reader first, at least. You're selling to the retailer. They are your conduit to the readers. So you need to I can sell it to every reader, and unless they actually go and like pre-order and prepay for the book, like that's only getting me half the job done. I need to tell the retailer that they will put it on the shelves because most people don't have a pull list or don't pre-order or right. So I need to make sure that it's on the shelves. So my main thing has been working directly with retailers as much as possible. So locally, and by locally I mean from here to the border so far, although I also did a stint in Vegas, is I go to every possible shop I can, and I still have more on the list to hit, so if you're watching this, I haven't been to your store yet, I'm coming. But I go to every store I can, I hand out posters, I give them like trading cards to give out. I do everything I can to make it easy for them to, one, want to order the book, and two, sell it once it gets there, right? I'm doing signings wherever I can. So on today, I'm not. This is not live. So today I'm going to stores all over the place and signing books. On Saturday I'll be at the Silver Snail in Toronto. If you're in Toronto, I'll be at the Silver Snail in the morning for Free Comic Book Day signing books. I try to work with the retailers as much as possible, and again, it's not limited to the Toronto area. I've sent packages with posters and all the goodies and all that to stores all over the place. Anyone's that asked, and a list of favored retailers that Prana gave me, and so it was like 60 some places that I sent promo material to, and I emailed everybody. I'm like, hey, you want stuff? And anyone who's like, yes, please, I sent it to them, right? So it's a lot of getting in front of the retailers so that they'll do the good work of making sure that it gets in front of readers. Because again, having, even if let's say that catalog was still printed, it's going to be over 1,000 pages, and I have one page, right?
I'm an outlier.
Yeah, right. No, and that's the thing, right? So I have to do something to cut through, and if it's you're at the cash already and you see my little trading card with from Parts Unknown on it, right? Hopefully that's something that cuts through because what is this? Oh, cool, that looks neat, right? And hopefully and then you recognize that and it becomes a regular thing in your head. That's kind of the idea, and that all starts with the retailers. Like, they are key. It's similar to how Kickstarter is important, and Kickstarter's like like getting on the front page of Kickstarter is a big deal when you're talking about that. So Niki Kaiju Woman was blessed with, when I did the first one, it ended up on the front page. That I was getting emails from people being like, hey dude, I opened Kickstarter and there's Niki Kaiju Woman. And that was a huge deal, right? I need to somehow replicate that with stores. I need to get on the front page of the store, right? And the way to do that is you work with them, right? Like I always try to prove to them, like, look, as much as I'm going to make something out of this in selling the books, I'm here to sell your books, right? Like, I'm not coming to your store and selling my own stuff. I'm coming to my store and making sure people come in, and hopefully they pick up my book when they're there. But it's not just that. I'm trying to get you customers that are here not just for my books, but for your store, everything in your store, whether they're picking up Batman as well or whatever. I'm just trying to get people back in the comic shop. So that's the key thing is working with retailers is the short story long.
Oh, it's great. So outside of that, you're going to be at that store for Free Comic Book Day, and anybody that's going on Free Comic Book Day, listen, this is my rule. If you're going on Free Comic Book Day, don't just pick up free comics, buy something. Buy a trade. it's easier than ever, everybody. DC has compact comics for $10. I mean, come on, buy a compact comic, do something.
Yeah.
But don't be that guy that walks in and just gets the free stuff. Unless you're a Wednesday warrior and you're there every week, you're fine. But
Yeah. You've already picked up your Wednesday books. That's cool, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you a pass, but you should still pick up a compact or something.
Yeah.
But
And most places have sales, right? Like that's the thing. Like it's a good day. Like they know that they're getting people who haven't usually walked in, and they make sure to provide some kind of a deal. Most stores do. So it's a good day to do some shopping anyway, right?
Yeah, mine does some trade sales, and I think he's doing back issue sales. Like there's always something going on. Yeah. Outside of that, any big con appearances going on you want to tell people about? Or?
Yeah. I don't have too many table things going on. So I have one table that it's top of mind because it just happened. Retro Rocket Comics in Cambridge, Ontario. They do this like outdoor thing. So Cambridge it's silly. And they would admit it too. Everybody says it's like, oh, it's like a European city. It's not. They have a nice downtown. They're a really nice, strollable downtown, and Retro Rocket's right in the middle of it. And every year they close down the street and they do like a little sale thing there. So I'll be there. That's in June. And then in July, I'm at San Diego. I'll be in San Diego. I don't have a table, but I'll be in San Diego. I'll be wearing the silly hat so you can find me. I got my pro badge for the first year, which I'm very excited for. So yeah, I'll be doing retailer day on the Friday, and then I'm out and about, and I'll go to all the silly parties and stuff, and meeting all the people I haven't seen in a little while since the last time I've been there. But yeah, San Diego's the big one. Looking forward to that, and then we'll see what else comes about. I've been scaling back a little bit on tabling at cons.
Yeah.
Just table fees have become a little bit. That's a whole conversation we could have. But table fees have become aggressive, and I find I just end up chasing table and not actually talking to folks. Yeah. So I've been going more the I'll be around route than I'm tied to my table. So that's I feel like that's working a little bit. So where I can get a pro badge, I will get it, and I will be there. So my goal is to also do the same for Fan Expo Canada in Toronto at the end of August. So June, July, August, I got plans.
Well, we'll have to talk about August off air because there's a con I'm planning on going to that I know is going to be pretty big around here. So
nice.
I'm excited about it. I just got back from Ithacon in Ithaca, New York.
Yeah,
I did that yesterday. Ton of fun. Just like a smaller con, very...
The smaller ones are great. Honestly,
very comic centric. My buddy Kevin Delgado was there. The guys from Ahoy Comics were there.
Nice.
Dynamite was there. Like it's small, but
you still have some representation. Yeah.
It was cool. Chris Condon was there. I got to chat with him for a minute. So
nice.
I haven't been to a con in years, and I was like, I think Saturday morning, just like, yeah, I'm going. $25.
Well, I love it.
Went, had a good time.
Yeah, we need more of those. Like, I love the fan expos of the world, which Fan Expo's the big one here, but it's like just rammed, right? So you just don't get that time with people to like sit and chat and like, that's the joy of comics. It's the most like accessible medium. Like, if you want to meet someone that does a book that you really enjoy, it's so easy, right? Like, if you love Mission Impossible, like, you'll never talk to Tom Cruise. Like, that's just it's not happening. But if you want to meet Scott Snyder, like, and he's a little more busy nowadays, but like, you can meet him. Like, you may have to wait in the line, but even if you want to meet somebody who's done another book that you're interested in, like, they're probably just sitting there and bored, and you can chat with them, and you can, you get them to sign your books, you do whatever. But like, you can't do that anywhere else, right? Like, it's wild. So yeah, comics are fun, man.
And quick story before we wrap everything up, but Chris Condon's there and I'm talking to him, and I love that Texas Blood. Like, that was a great book. And I told him, I'm like, yeah, honestly, I'm a big fan of Brubaker and Phillips for like most of my life. Just, those two kind of changed my comics reading and everything. So when I saw Jacob was doing his own thing, I was like, oh, let's check out what Jacob's doing. Jacob Phillips, everybody out there. And that was that Texas Blood. And I was like, I don't know who this Chris Condon. I told him flat out, like, I don't know who this Chris Condon guy is, but Jacob Phillips, like, let's check it out. And I was like, it became one of my favorite books at the time, and I just loved it. And he just looks at me and goes, listen, whatever got you there, I'll make sure to text Jacob later and be like, thanks for sending me one more fan. But
yeah.
And it's just
you never know, right?
Yeah, and he's like, and it's just the honesty of it. Like, there's no big ego or anything. He's like, no, just like, yeah, I love Jacob too. That's why he's on the book. Like,
yeah, it's very easy to be humble in comics because they will humble you very quickly if you you know, you get too big for your britches, that won't last.
So outside of the con appearances and everything, do you want to send people anywhere online, whether it be X, Facebook, some sort of social media? Like, where are you kind of hanging out at?
Yeah, 100%. So two places, pestocomics.com. I have a website that I've been told is very, very well done. And
website in business, everybody. It's awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So yeah, pestocomics.com. You'll find all the information I can possibly give. I'm very transparent about things, so I put everything up there. The only thing that's lacking is the news page. I'm working on setting that up because that's a little bit more of an ongoing thing. But pestocomics.com. Or if you don't care to go to websites because I don't know you don't like them, that's fine. At Pesto Comics, anywhere online. I'm the Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all of it. I cross post, right? I'm doing daily videos talking about not just Pesto. I'm not just selling you stuff all the time. I'm talking about everything comics. But I like to keep it positive, right? I'm human, and I can get negative and all that, but there's a lot of that on the internet, and I don't care for it. So I try to stay positive as much as possible. So if you're looking for some like comics are great, everything's going well kind of stuff, that's what I provide. So you'll see a lot if you follow. You'll see this mug every single day talking something good about comics. So I feel like there's not enough of that.
Very cool. So everybody out there watching, listening, first, when you're at your comic shops today, because I know you're listening to this on the way to the comic shop. Like you wouldn't listen to it tomorrow. Why would you do that? Pick up from Parts Unknown. If your shop sold out, because they probably did, let's be honest, everybody, tell them to order another one for you, and hopefully there's some left over. Hopefully, it didn't sell 10,000 copies like we all know it did. But also check out the show notes down below. I'll have links to the future Kickstarters so you guys can follow those if any of those sound interesting to you, to the website so you can find everything Adriano's doing, because like I said, the website's great. It's one of the few times I can tell you, everybody, he's got his next year planned out, and you can see exactly when stuff's going to happen. And, if any of those books sound interesting to you, check them out. Check out the pre-launch pages there, all that kind of stuff. So, Adriano, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, likewise. This is a lot of fun, man. This time flies, eh? I'm like, whoa, we're going to do this for 90 minutes. Yeah, no, this has been great.
Definitely we'll have to do it again in the future, because I know some of these books sound really cool. You got my attention with Crimson Frontier in particular. So
nice. Yes.
Definitely pencil you in for a future visit. And just best of luck with from Parts Unknown and your experiment in the direct market.
Yes, thanks, man. Yeah, very excited. And yeah, thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun. I'll definitely be back. Yeah, for sure. This is great.